This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. I am Steve Knight, Chair of the Rhome Planning and Zoning Commission. It is 6 p.m. on Monday, February 6, 2023. I will call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Rhome Planning and Zoning Commission to order, and I will call roll now to establish our quorum. We have a new member with us that has just started tonight. We're glad to have her here. Kathy Kineski here. Roland Kuhlman here. Steve Knight is here. We have a quorum. We have 3 people. Public presentations. Public presentations and input. The Commission is not permitted to take action on or discuss any presentations made to the Commission at this time concerning an item not listed on the agenda. The Commission will hear comments on specific agenda items during the designated time. If you are attending the meeting via live streaming and you would like to make a public presentation, you must email Shana Odom at citysecretary@cityrome.com by 4 p.m. the day of the meeting to be recognized. If you are attending the meeting in person, sign-up forms will be available at the meeting to fill out and submit prior to the meeting and start time. Shana, do we have any presentations?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to our regular agenda, new business. Item A, discussion and any necessary action regarding property 250 West BC Rome, Rome, Texas 76078. And I will refer to our city administrator for some background.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Oh, excuse me, this is a little too close. I've had the opportunity to speak with the company that's here before us this evening. They are doing some exploratory or due diligence on the property at 250 BC Rome to look at the potential of bringing in an ACE hardware. You do have the information in front of you from the standpoint of an overview of what they're thinking. Staff and I have talked with them a couple of times just to give them some feedback on what our zoning requirements are and what type of things they may encounter. So there are 4 things that we've had some conversation with them on. One of them is whether or not P&Z would consider an allowance on the pole sign variance, a variance for that pole sign, and I told them they would need to come before P&Z. Today's conversation is not for action, it's simply for discussion. There's also a sewer issue. Currently that property is on a septic, and in order to get a waiver, in order to drill under the road to tie into the manhole that's on the other side of BC Rome, it will take at least a year of an application with TxDOT. So when I talked to the engineer and when I talked to the public works director, they discussed the idea of a not a variance necessarily, but a forbearance for a couple of years that would allow us to get that done, where they could convert the septic to handle the commercial needs. In an ACE hardware, they're not necessarily going to have a plethora of people coming in to use the restroom per se. So I think they could make some modifications and continue with the current system. And then that would give them a couple of 2 or 3 years to get that variance from TxDOT, do the work under the road because they have to drill under, they have to bore under that road, tie into the manhole, and then eventually hook up to the septic or to our sewer system. The other item we discussed is the parking proposal. They'd like to see about not modifying, but they'd like to have a staged approach to parking where up against the building would be concrete. And then right now that site currently has some road base, if you will, towards the road, and they would eventually take that in concreted spots, but maybe delay that a year or 2 into the project depending upon their traffic. The other thing they have asked about is there is an easement on the east side of the property that is currently being used by the building to access that side of that entrance on the side, and they would ask that the city abandon that easement or that alleyway so that they could use that for an outdoor garden center in that area. So we have representatives here from the company that would like to present some of the overview and some of the ideas, and then just get some feedback from P&Z on the next steps and if there's anything they should pay special attention to as they are moving through the rest of the due diligence process.
So that you really kind of explained everything that we're asking for. Thank you. I'll just tell you the why we're asking for a lot of this stuff for the parking lot and the sewer. The sewer obviously is a time issue. We want to be connected to the city sewer. It was our understanding when we made an offer on the property that it was connected to the sewer, and obviously we figured that out as part of our due diligence. But the why on some of this other stuff is we really think this market has a great potential. It's really on the green side right now, but this building came up, and it's a situation where if we can get in now, we can get in at the right price, which is really important to us. We can kind of get by on maybe a few years where our sales are not really there, but we're really confident over time that just with all the growth around here, that'll take care of itself. So I was talking earlier about we have a store in Justin, and we opened up there 8 years ago. 8 years ago, Justin was a totally different town than it is right now, and that store has grown with the city there. So that's really the why on why we're asking for some of these variances. Of course, the pole sign, it's set off the road a little bit. There's not great visibility, so that's the primary reason. It's a 20-foot pole sign, I believe, is what we have on there, so it's not higher than the height of the building. It's much lower than the ones that are going in right now. There's a big one going in right on the corner. But that's really why we're asking for it and what we're asking for. And we're, like Amanda said, we're trying to get a feel for if you guys, if P&Z and council is amenable to that.
Okay. Yeah, those points of need there. I don't want to at all sound like I don't want an Ace Hardware in my store. I use Ace Hardware quite often. In fact, I drive to the one I used to use in Fort Worth. It's long way Basswood and Beach.
Okay, the Westlake. Yeah.
Just because I know them, and it's a great store. They have everything, including the knowledge to help you out. My thoughts on the thing was the one that kind of bothers me some is the alleyway. I look at our city limit signs, which is our city limits borders, which just backs up to all the properties up and down BZ Rome, right to the back side of you. The other side of that is, but if that should ever want to come into the city alleyway that the city doesn't do anything with, I don't think there's anything under it. But that's just a concern that they don't make any more land, and land could become costly out here in 10 years. Who knows? I'm sure that's why you're wanting in where you are, and that's very forward thinking. So that's my only concern there, and it's not a huge concern. I don't think it's a deal breaker for me. However, we are a planning and zoning commission. We report to the city council, making recommendations to them on our thoughts. So we are not the final decider in anything. I have a couple of questions on the signage. We have a terrible time with signs in this town when a business comes to town. You can tell that. Everything out on the highway is trying to get up as high as our water tower. So, but that's just the way that kind of business is. I'm just asking because I saw in here you do have a fairly tall sign. You don't think some kind of a monument sign out to the street lit up that would somebody turn the corner knowing the Ace Hardware is somewhere in town, couldn't see it as well as they could as a sign up in the trees. Like you say, unless you went above the trees, nobody's really going to see it off the highway.
Yeah,
anyway.
if those trees were gone, if there's where the houses are, if all those trees are gone, then that's probably, there's a little bit more visibility there with the current situation.
Once again, just discussing.
No, that's fine. Totally understand.
The monument signs would be nice, and especially with, you're going to have quite a bit of road frontage.
Yes. Correct.
So if you came off Business 287, where the car wash is, you'd look down and you could see the monument sign almost as well as you could a sign in the air. I'm just throwing that thought.
No. Did you pick up what's coming? What wants to come? Yeah. No, Ace Hardware, which would be good. Yeah. Like supposedly like the new one in Justin. 2-year-old in Justin or whatever.
That wouldn't be bad,
Uh-huh.
I guess, but then
Be better
I'd
than
rather
the
have a
strip
restaurant.
bar.
Jeffy would rather have a restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm going to the trash and I'm gonna go try to go find her sweet dog. I'm getting, you're gonna laugh at me, stuff out for tomorrow. I'm reading you, other stuff to see that I had, and I may ask Deborah, Daddy's just my 2 or 3 items. If you don't want to go, they want to pick up. I have recycled Jello salad, stuff that's easy, quick to make, and a recycled meatloaf that they want to pick up to take to Shirley's thing Friday.
Oh, okay.
Whether we go or not. I'm going to the
I can maybe take you up there.
We'll see. You might just go instead, and you may not. You may not call it city. But at least have to pick up my.
So you can't hear any of the conversation. You can hear Steve Knight and the guy from Ace and some ladies trying to talk, but it's not coming through.
I need Mr. Mike to pass from the audience.
Uh-huh.
You keep saying there's one party. Well, that don't help us to make it the back door talking. Here she is. Taylor, are you okay? You okay? Like the young people, I think it was a blackie here. Let me take it to the trash and I'll be back in. Only thing I'd say about there, it would be, you're talking about across from the library.
Yeah.
Be hellacious, here we go again, hellacious traffic.
Well, they're wanting to back the traffic, to back that space further back. But then it won't be right on the road. We'll have,
Otherwise, that wouldn't be good.
is it over now?
No, I don't know what that is, but. Need my water.
I think it's pretty much over.
Oh, yeah, that's on the agenda. Kid almost fell just now. Kid almost fell right just now.
Oh, please don't.
Trash in the car, I had to spell, which I hadn't had in a long
Certainly
time.
their due diligence period will have run
I
out.
thought she would go down
They
Yeah.
have a year or
about
two.
5 trash cans.
Can you sit down?
I fixed it, but
I'm not sure if TxDOT does that or they have to hire someone to do that. I think that was one of the concerns is they're not a startup company, but they are a smaller company, and having all of those upfront costs loaded in at the very beginning can cause this to not make sense for them or for the city. And so some of those would allow us to bring a wonderful asset to Rome.
Well, I was going to say, would it behoove the city, is this going to be some kind of a connection that could be connected to from other places on that side of the road?
I'd have to check with Mr. Dominguez. I don't want him to.
Just, well, like I say, it's an exploratory type
Yes.
meeting, and that would be certainly beneficial to the city.
I will tell you, he has a very good handle of everything on that side of the road and what's going on, so he'd be able to answer our questions.
So those are the kind of things we
But
brought
he's
up
not
at this
here.
meeting to help you along with your decision, I guess, is what you're after.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't see an issue that can't be worked out between everybody. And really, since we're not doing any deciding, we really don't even need to come up with anything to send on to city council.
We don't have a-
Coming to city council soon here to,
Well, it would go through the planning and zoning process.
Okay.
We've just been handling
we'll
this.
see them again first before we can.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Get some of these questions.
so you got Kathy Conway, then
Maybe in a few
Lou,
weeks.
probably about.
Well,
I would.
if we are a small shop, we can move pretty quickly.
We can.
So that's a good thing. So we'll be kind of at their pace
Yep.
from here on out.
Yeah, we're not going to be TxDOT. Okay.
Thank you.
I think you've seen that in the size of it, so. Do you have any future agenda items?
I don't.
Anything anybody wants to bring up? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. It is 6:20.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any time we have is only as a meeting, so we're now individuals.